In the busy city, everyone is struggling for their dreams and life. Xin Yi is no exception. As the heir to a mid-sized family business, she always thought her life would go according to plan, taking over the family business and taking it to new heights. However, fate always seems to like to play tricks. A sudden economic crisis caused the Yang family's business to collapse, and Xin Yi's life also faced a huge turning point. When the Yang family needed help the most, an unexpected opportunity presented itself. Xin Mohan, a young business tycoon and well-known CEO, proposed a plan to solve the Yang family crisis. He is willing to invest in the Yang family and help them tide over the difficulties, but the condition is that Xin Yi must sign a one-year fake marriage contract with him. Xin Yi was shocked and felt a little hesitant. This contract seemed to be mutually beneficial for both parties, but she knew that signing any contract with someone like Xin Mohan would not be a simple matter. Xin Mohan is known for his ruthlessness and shrewdness, and anyone who approaches him needs to take huge risks. However, faced with the crisis in the family business, Xin Yi knew that she had no choice. After some careful consideration, Xin Yi decided to accept the contract. She told herself that this was just a business deal and that in a year, everything would be back on track. On the day the contract was signed, Xin Mohan and Xin Yi met in a luxurious law firm. The communication between the two was extremely formal, and there was an insurmountable layer of coldness between them. At the moment of signing, Xin Yi's mood was extremely complicated, including the joy of reviving the family business, but also the fear and uneasiness of the unknown future. After the signing ceremony, Xin Mohan's attitude suddenly changed. He said to Xin Yi, "Since we are husband and wife now, at least in front of outsiders, we must behave like a real couple." Xin Yi nodded, knowing that this fake and real game had just begun. And this year will be the most unusual year in her life. When Xin Yi stepped out of the law firm, an inexplicable feeling came to her heart. She doesn't know where this contract will take her life, but she knows that from now on. From this moment on, her life has been tightly tied to Xin Mohan. Xin Yi's new life begins with moving into Xin Mohan's luxury apartment. This apartment in the city center not only has a wide view, but also has extremely exquisite decoration. Every detail reveals the owner's taste and pursuit. However, for Xin Yi, the atmosphere here is full of unfamiliarity and discomfort. When Xin Yi stepped into this new home with her suitcase, she couldn't help but become nervous. Xin Mohan was already waiting in the apartment. He was wearing casual dark clothes and looked more relaxed than in the office, but his habitual indifference still existed. "This will be your home for the next year." Xin Mohan introduced lightly, without much welcome or warmth in his tone. Xin Yi nodded, trying to look more comfortable. "Thank you, I will take good care of this family." The first encounter occurred during dinner. Xin Yi offered to cook as a way of thanking and trying to build a good relationship. However, when Xin Mohan took a bite of the dish she carefully prepared, his reaction was beyond her expectation. "This is one of the most tasteless foods I have ever eaten." Xin Mohan commented bluntly, without any emotion on his face. Xin Yi felt embarrassed and disappointed. She tried hard to maintain a smile. "I will continue to work hard. I hope I can satisfy you next time." This conflict made Xin Yi realize that getting along with Xin Mohan would not be as simple as she imagined. There are so many differences between them, and these differences are exactly the challenges that need to be overcome together. As time went by, Xin Yi and Xin Mohan began to slowly adapt to each other's lifestyle. Xin Yi learned how to find her place in Xin Mohan's world, and Xin Mohan also began to accept the changes and vitality brought by Xin Yi. Their relationship seemed to be melting bit by bit in the cold winter. Although there is still a gap between the two, the small frictions and conflicts in getting along gradually become opportunities for them to understand each other. During this period, Xin Yi discovered that Xin Mohan was not as ruthless as the outside world said. He had his own fragility and uncertainty. And Xin Mohan also saw Xin Yi's perseverance and deep love for her family. This mutual understanding caused subtle changes in their relationship. As time went by, Xin Yi and Xin Mohan were forced to attend more and more social activities as husband and wife to maintain their fake relationship. This situation forced the two to interact more frequently, and also caused a new change in their relationship. At an important charity dinner, Xin Yi and Xin Mohan attracted everyone's attention as newlyweds. Xin Yi wore an exquisite evening dress, simple and elegant, which matched perfectly with Xin Mohan's black suit. Under the flashlight, they smiled and gently wrapped their arms around each other, as if they were a truly loving couple. However, behind the smiles and polite conversations, Xin Yi felt unprecedented pressure. She had to keep reminding herself that this was all an act, and she couldn't let herself be fooled by the blissful sight before her. During the dinner, an unexpected situation forced Xin Yi and Xin Mohan to go one step further and make it real. When a drunken guest suddenly lost his balance and rushed toward Xin Yi, Xin Mohan quickly pulled her into his arms to protect her from the collision. At that moment, Xin Yi could feel the temperature and heartbeat of Xin Mohan's body, which made her mood complicated. This unexpected contact, although brief, left an impression between the two that was hard to ignore. After the dinner, during the drive back home, both of them were silent, each reflecting on this accidental contact. After that night, Xin Yi found that her opinion of Xin Mohan began to change slightly. She began to notice his careful protection of her in public and his occasional tenderness in daily life. These details gave her a better understanding of Xin Mohan, and also made her question her own definition of this relationship. Xin Mohan also felt the change in the atmosphere between the two. Xin Yi's sincerity and hard work made him feel differently about her, and he began to show more care and understanding to her. With the passage of time, the relationship between Xin Yi and Xin Mohan is no longer as stiff and distant as it was initially. Although they all know that they are still hovering on the edge of pretending to be real, it is undeniable that their hearts have quietly moved closer. As the relationship between Xin Yi and Xin Mohan gradually heated up, their lives suddenly faced a new challenge. A financial crisis suddenly broke out about Xin Mohan's company, which not only threatened the future of the company, but also tested the relationship between the two. One night, Xin Mohan returned home with a solemn expression. He placed a document in front of Xin Yi. It was the company's financial report, which was full of worrying red numbers. "We have encountered some problems." Xin Mohan's voice was low, revealing rare anxiety. Xin Yi read the document carefully, and she could feel the seriousness of the problem. She looked up at Xin Mohan with firm eyes. "We will definitely find a solution." Xin Yi's background and experience enable her to help in this situation. She began to work with Xin Mohan, discussing countermeasures late at night, studying market trends, and looking for possible comebacks. In this process, the cooperation between the two became more and more tacit. Xin Yi not only provided help with financial analysis, but her optimism and tenacity also became Xin Mohan's spiritual pillar. After weeks of hard work, they finally found a solution and successfully brought in a major investor to give the company a much-needed infusion of capital. This crisis was not only successfully resolved, but also further expanded the company's business. The moment they successfully overcame the financial crisis, Xin Yi and Xin Mohan hugged each other and cried in the office. All the pressure and exhaustion were released at this moment. They realized that their struggle together during this period not only allowed them to overcome difficulties together, but also made their relationship deeper. After the crisis, the relationship between the two took a qualitative leap. They are no longer a couple who are together just because of the contract, but are partners in the true sense, supporting each other and growing together. Xin Yi looked at Xin Mohan, her eyes full of gratitude and respect. "We can't do this without you." Xin Mohan held her hand and replied gratefully, "We did it together." At this moment, they both understand that although the future is still full of uncertainties and challenges, as long as they are together, there is nothing that cannot be overcome. The relationship between the two people is in common. Through the challenges and crises we have experienced, we have found a more solid foundation. After overcoming the company crisis together, the relationship between Xin Yi and Xin Mohan has undoubtedly become closer. This experience not only brought their understanding and trust to each other to a new level, but also planted the seeds of emotion invisibly. As time passed, the relationship between the two began to undergo subtle changes. The previous politeness and etiquette gradually became less necessary, replaced by more laughter and relaxed conversation. Xin Yi began to find that whenever she looked at Xin Mohan, there would be an unprecedented warm feeling in her heart. On an ordinary weekend, they went to an art exhibition downtown. Walking in front of the artworks and listening to Chin Mohan's introduction to the stories behind each work, Xin Yi felt the joy of spending time with him for the first time. At that moment, she suddenly realized that her feelings for Chin Mohan were more than just a simple relationship between a contracted couple. One night, when Xin Yi was sitting on the balcony enjoying the night view, Chin Mohan came over and handed her a cup of hot tea. They sat side by side and talked about their dreams and plans for the future. As the conversation deepened, Xin Yi plucked up the courage to confess her feelings to Chin Mohan. "Since this time, I have found that my feelings for you have gone beyond the scope of the original contract," Xin Yi said softly, but her eyes were firm. Chin Mohan was silent for a while after hearing this, and then turned to her, with complex emotions flashing in his eyes. "Me too, Xin Yi. I don't know where this feeling comes from, but I am sure that I don't want to pretend that this is just a show acting." This heart-to-heart exchange brought the relationship between the two to a new stage. They began to treat each other's feelings more sincerely and no longer shy away from their inner voices. However, this nascent relationship is still very fragile and requires time and patience to cultivate and maintain. At this time, Xin Yi's family business encountered difficulties again, requiring her to invest more time and energy to solve them. This put a new test on the relationship between her and Chin Mohan. Xin Yi is worried that this relationship that has just begun may be affected by external pressure. In a late night, during the dialogue, Xin Yi and Chin Mohan promised each other that no matter what challenges they face in the future, they will work together to overcome them. This determination makes their relationship stronger and gives them hope for the future. "No matter what the road ahead is, we will never give up on each other." Chin Mohan held Xin Yi's hand, his eyes full of determination and love. As the relationship between Xin Yi and Chin Mohan blossomed, the two began to cherish the time they spent with each other more. They are no longer a simple contractual couple, but gradually find support in real emotions. However, just as they began to enjoy this warm relationship, Xin Yi's family business once again faced a crisis, which brought a new test to their relationship. Xin Yi's family business once again fell into financial difficulties due to a series of unfavorable market changes and management decision-making errors. This crisis is more serious than before and may even affect the company's survival. Xin Yi had to devote more time and energy to the rescue of the family business, which undoubtedly put pressure on her relationship with Chin Mohan. In order to find a solution, Xin Yi needs to leave temporarily and go abroad to negotiate with potential partners. This means that she and Chin Mohan will face a period of separation. When saying goodbye at the airport, Chin Mohan held Xin Yi's hand tightly, his eyes full of reluctance. "Remember, no matter what happens, I will be here waiting for you." Xin Yi nodded, with tears in her eyes. "I will come back as soon as possible, and we will face every challenge in the future together." After Xin Yi left, Chin Mohan began to feel lonely as never before. He began to realize more deeply the importance of Xin Yi in his life. Every day when he returned to his empty home after get-off work, he would unconsciously expect Xin Yi's figure to appear at the door, waiting for them to spend dinner together. At the same time, Xin Yi's negotiations abroad were not smooth. Facing complex business negotiations and the physical burden caused by jet lag, she felt deeply exhausted. Whenever it was quiet at night, she would always think of Chin Mohan's encouragement and support. It was this longing that gave her the strength to move forward. Despite the separation and challenges they faced, neither Xin Yi nor Chin Mohan gave up. They stayed in touch via phone calls and messages, sharing each other's daily routines and challenges, and this communication became an integral part of their relationship. As time passed, Xin Yi finally made a breakthrough in the negotiations and successfully secured valuable cooperation opportunities for the family business. When she returned to China with the good news, the moment Chin Mohan greeted her at the airport, the two hugged each other tightly. Needless to say, their hearts were already closely connected. Although this experience was full of challenges, it also made the relationship between Xin Yi and Chin Mohan deeper. They realized that as long as two people support each other, there will be no insurmountable difficulties. The bud of this emotion finally began to blossom and bear fruit after experiencing challenges. Xin Yi's successful return to China brought not only a turnaround for the family business, but also new hope for her relationship with Chin Mohan. However, just as their relationship gradually deepened and they prepared to face the future together, they encountered the first real test in their relationship, an unexpected quarrel. The fight started over a seemingly simple, everyday decision: how to properly allocate family finances. Xin Yi advocated that more should be invested in the revival and development of family businesses, while Chen Mohan believed that they also need to reserve more funds for their future, including possible personal projects and joint life savings. The issue quickly boiled over into a debate about values and plans for the future. Xin Yi felt that Chen Mohan did not support her commitment and responsibility to the family business enough, while Chen Mohan felt that Xin Yi was too stubborn and did not fully consider the future of the two of them as a whole. As the discussion progressed, both of them became emotional. Xin Yi's voice became louder and louder. "Don't you understand what the family business means to me? It is not just a business, it is my father's last wish and the glory of our family." Chen Mohan was not to be outdone. "I understand you, Xin Yi, but we also need to consider our own future. We cannot always live in the shadow of the past and ignore our own lives and dreams." The quarrel finally ended in exhaustion and silence between the two. They all retreated to their corners and tried to calm down. In the following days, they barely communicated, each reflecting on the real reason behind the altercation. Xin Yi began to realize that her dedication to the family business may have indeed ignored Chen Mohan's feelings and their common future. And Chen Mohan also began to understand that Xin Yi's emphasis on family responsibilities did not mean that she did not care about their relationship. In the end, Xin Yi took the initiative to find Chen Mohan, and the two had an in-depth and sincere conversation. Xin Yi admitted her fault. "I realized that I was too stubborn and did not consider your feelings. We need to find a way to get the best of both worlds." Chen Mohan also expressed his understanding and support. "I know how important the family is to you, and I am willing to support you. We need to face the future together and find a balance that belongs to the two of us." Through this quarrel, Xin Yi and Chen Mohan learned to communicate their thoughts and feelings more openly, and also realized the importance of understanding and compromise. Their relationship becomes stronger as a result, and the two of them cherish each other more and face life's challenges together. After experiencing their first real quarrel and subsequent reconciliation, Xin Yi and Chen Mohan's understanding and affection for each other have deepened significantly. Although this experience was full of challenges, it also strengthened their belief that as long as they support each other, there is no difficulty that cannot be overcome. It was this belief that laid the foundation for the coming honest confession between them. Chen Mohan decided to prepare a special dinner for Xin Yi as a prelude to confessing his true feelings to her. He carefully selected Xin Yi's favorite dishes. Although his cooking skills were not as skillful as Xin Yi's, he put all his heart into every dish. The atmosphere of the dinner was extremely warm, and the two spent a wonderful evening in relaxed and pleasant conversation. As the dinner came to an end, Chen Mohan's heart began to beat faster, and he knew it was time to confess his true feelings to Xin Yi. In the quiet moment after the meal, Chen Mohan took a deep breath and mustered up the courage to say to Xin Yi, "Xin Yi, I have something to say to you. During this period of time, whether it is facing difficulties together or every day, it all made me realize that my feelings for you go far beyond the original contract. I truly fell in love with you, not because of any contract, but because you are who you are." Listening to Chen Mohan's words, Xin Yi's eyes were filled with tears of emotion. She never thought that she would hear such a sincere confession from Chen Mohan under such circumstances. She knew that her heart had been firmly occupied by him, and when she heard his confession, all her uncertainty and hesitation disappeared. Xin Yi held Chen Mohan's hand tightly, tears in her eyes flickering in the candlelight. "Mohan, I love you too. From the moment you prepared this dinner for me, I knew that my heart completely belongs to you. Between us, the feelings between each other really transcend any contract. It is real and solid." The two hugged each other tightly, and all words became redundant. At this moment, their hearts are filled with longing for the future and deep dependence on each other. Their true emotions make their relationship more unbreakable and give them the courage and confidence to face any challenges in life together. On that special night, Xin Yi and Chen Mohan not only confessed their true feelings for each other, but also made a promise for the future. No matter how bumpy the future road is, they will hold hands, heart to heart, and move forward together. This emotional confession is not only a summary of the past, but also an expectation for a better life in the future. After the emotional confession, the relationship between Xin Yi and Chin Mohan entered a new stage. They are no longer a couple based on a contract, but partners who truly come together because of love. As the contract expiration date approaches, the two face an important decision, whether to officially end the relationship, or choose to move towards a new beginning. As the contract expiration date approaches, Xin Yi and Chin Mohan begin to reflect on every detail of the past year. From the initial encounter, to facing challenges together, to the confirmation of each other's emotions, every step seems to be destined that their encounter is not just as simple as a contract. In a late-night conversation, Xin Yi said softly, "In this year, we have experienced too much, and there have been profound changes in each other. I started to think that the end of the contract does not mean the end of our relationship." Chin Mohan stared at her, his eyes full of affection. "I feel the same way. For me, this contract was not just a business cooperation from the beginning, but more of a fate that brought us together. Now, what I want it is to walk with you towards a future that is not bound by contracts." After the decision was made, the two began to plan how to tell their relatives and friends about this new beginning. They decided to hold a small celebration on the day the contract ended, not only to mark the end of the contract, but also to celebrate a new chapter in their relationship. On the day of the celebration, they invited close family and friends. Amid the blessings of everyone, Xin Yi and Chin Mohan exchanged new promises. This time, they were based on true love and common expectations for the future. Chin Mohan took out an exquisite ring, gently put it on Xin Yi's finger, and whispered, "No matter what the future holds, I will be with you. This ring is my promise." Xin Yi smiled with tears in her eyes. She knew that this was more than just a ring. It was a symbol of the two people going through ups and downs together and finally choosing to move forward hand in hand. As the celebration ended, Xin Yi and Chin Mohan officially started their new life. This time, there is no bondage of the contract, only the deep love between each other. Full of expectations for the future, they understand that real relationships are never smooth sailing and there will still be challenges and difficulties along the way. But as they've learned over the past year, as long as there's love, trust, and each other's support, nothing is insurmountable. After experiencing the end of the contract and the new commitment to the future, the relationship between Xin Yi and Chin Mohan has entered a more mature and stable stage. Their love is no longer the product of a contract, but is based on true emotion and mutual understanding. As time passed, the two decided to take their relationship to the next level, cementing their love with a more solemn commitment. Xin Yi and Chin Mohan began to plan their future together, discussing the details of the wedding, their dream home and every important moment they wanted to spend together. During this process, they realized more deeply that no matter what the road ahead, as long as they are with each other, it is the most beautiful journey. On a sunny afternoon, Chin Mohan took Xin Yi to the coffee shop where they first met. This place has special meaning for them, witnessing their transformation from contracted couple to real lovers. When Xin Yi was immersed in memories, Chin Mohan knelt down, took out an exquisite ring, and said softly, "Xin Yi, I hope you will be eternity in my life. No matter what the future holds, I hope to walk hand in hand with you. Will you marry me?" Xin Yi burst into tears and nodded in agreement without any hesitation. At this moment, their hearts were closely connected again, and all words seemed redundant. Wedding day. Their wedding was held on a beautiful seaside, and they witnessed this sacred moment of love with family and friends. The sea breeze was blowing and the sun was shining. Xin Yi was wearing an exquisite wedding dress and Chin Mohan was wearing an elegant suit. The two exchanged vows in a ceremony surrounded by flowers. "I am willing to walk hand in hand with you in the coming days, no matter in good times or in bad times." Their vows resounded across the seaside, symbolizing the firmness and eternity of their love. After the wedding, Xin Yi and Chin Mohan opened a new chapter in their life together. They know that there will be various challenges and difficulties on the road ahead, but as long as there is love, trust, and each other's company, there is nothing that cannot be overcome. With the promise of love, they face the future together with firmer steps. Every challenge writes a beautiful story that belongs to them.